And we are back for episode 3.
Yeah,
I'm your host, Soul, and this is my co host, the Mighty M.
indeed. Although maybe this time I should have made my name W. Oh well, no need to change our point of view that much.
Nah. So, I guess we can just cut right to the meat of it, because I guess we kind of said all we needed to at the start of it.
Pretty much, yeah. But for those joining us, why are you joining episode 3 of this Bleach retrospective of two Bleach fans really just going through one of their favorite shows and excited for October 10th when
Mm-hmm.
the Thousand Year Blood War commences? I still don't know if we're getting a dub simultaneously or where we can watch it in Canada and South Canada.
But, yeah, we will be talking Bleach.
We're into the Orankar arc now, which starts in episode 110 for those watching along with the anime. If you are, congratulations, you've watched 110 episodes unless you've skipped the Bount arc, which I think means you've only watched 60 episodes. I forget how long the Bount arc is.
Yeah. Now, as we previously mentioned, or at least I made sure to try and make a note of it, we are skipping any filler arcs and filler episodes to
Yeah.
try and compress this, which means some things are going to be out of order, some things will not be mentioned. If
On
it's
our memories may not be spot on too due to filler
now,
arc being
if we
on
skip
things.
your favorite episode, your favorite moment, or we don't mention it, or we misremember it, apologies all around. But it's either not important to what we're trying to do here. That we're not saying it's not important to the show. Don't get us wrong, but we're trying to speed this along a little bit, not spend 15 hours talking about one arc.
I mean, if we really wanted to, and if there was demand, I'm pretty sure Soul and I could go hour long for every episode, or at least
Yeah.
nearly episode.
Oh
But
God, remember Final Fantasy 14?
yes, dude, if we wanted to, I'm pretty sure we could do an hour long discussion on just the first part of Omega.
Yeah.
Anyway, once again, be prepared for images to be completely out of order. We're trying to go with a flow here, and sometimes characters fit better in certain places, and we are totally doing it just to annoy somebody.
Mm. Now, as
I
I
don't know who that
mentioned,
somebody is,
the
though.
arc between when they return to the human world and to the Arankar is called the Bound arc.
Yeah, we are skipping it for pacing things. However, I'm going to make special note that the Bount arc is the only filler arc that actually, on paper, makes sense where it is. It doesn't feel that jarring. It doesn't interrupt the plot like we're going to get to in the next arc, where I think it gets stopped 3 times for filler, if not twice.
And like I said, while it is a good arc, you're not missing anything if you skip it.
Yeah, a
It's
lot of people consider the Bount arc to be the worst part of Bleach's anime, period. I don't, but I totally see why people do, and I do not besmirch them for hating it.
I'm kind of in the middle on that one. I don't.
I like it in theory. I like parts of it, and overall, I think it's good, but I don't miss it when I do a rewatch.
Yeah, you're like
Like
I.
if I do watch it, I watch it. If I don't watch it, I don't watch it. I'm not
Yeah, it's a
that
standard
upset about it.
arc all around. Like it
Yeah, it feels
flows well.
to me, it feels high Naruto quality.
Mm.
Which, yes, I don't think Naruto measures up to Bleach. And again, of the big three, I never cared for One Piece, except for the Four Kids dub. Gotta love that Four Kids rap.
But let's
Although
get
now,
on with it before we start rambling again.
yeah, we
What we
join our crew, returning to the world of living on a giant paper plane.
I just got one question.
Hmm.
Can Kiseki show me a whole new world?
You want him to show you a whole new world?
Well, to be fair, he looks like the guy that would do it.
Yes, but I don't think it would involve romance.
I'm not sure I want it to
However,
involve romance.
I can guarantee you it would involve diabetes. Yes, so here we have our main crew being rescued by Kisuke and his 4 employees. One employee is stuck under the elbow of the armpit of the guy in the back.
Well, Uri was just buried in that pile with Orihime, isn't he?
I think he's on top. Hard to tell.
I think Ichigo's on the bottom. I think Urio's on top of him. Chad's on the side along with Orihime, but she's like below
And
Urio.
Yoruichi seems all rightish.
Well, more all right than Ichigo.
I, I don't know. I've seen my cat stretch like that many a times.
And he's
But
just grinning away flying that thing.
wouldn't you?
True.
Yes.
So,
But yeah, Kisuke's entrances and exits out of realities tend to make you fall from great heights, but at least this time he caught them.
yeah. Now,
We
Uryu
previously,
does make
we,
mention that he was aware of the object that the
uh, Kisuke,
Kizue. Oh god, I
you keep
keep doing that.
you keep trying to say Urahara, and
And
you keep trying to Uryu, so you're combining the names, getting them wrong. So this scene is where Kisuke apologizes for what he did to Rukia and for not informing the gang about the Hogyoku. And basically, he's coming clean. He was shady as shit to them. And the reason why he didn't tell them everything is Ichigo suspects Kisuke thinks, okay, Ichigo believes that Kisuke thought that if he told them everything, the group would get scared and not go to save the day. And Kisuke's word for admitting that is an elbow to the face.
mm-hmm.
I love the dub where he's just in the background. Ah, I wasn't expecting an elbow.
So
Yeah.
Ichigo got a nice little trinket for coming back and all
hmm
his hard work.
For all of his hard work, for saving Rukia, for kind of revealing that Aizen's the bad guy, he is declared a substitute Soul Reaper, which is the only way a human can have substitute powers.
Which
Is
is kind of sketchy if you think about it, because they have something like this.
mhm. There
Hmm.
have been previous substitute Soul Reapers, but giving your powers is a big no-no. I guess what it is technically Ichigo did nothing wrong. Rukia did the wrong by giving the powers, so don't blame the sun. Like I like that. Like you're not responsible for the person who gave you these powers. But if you're going to keep your powers, we have to deputize you. So here's the substitute Soul Reaper badge, which is really cool. And I every time I see this, I think back to when Bleach first came out. There was this really cool DVD box set I wanted to buy, which came with that as a wallet.
Nice.
I didn't buy it because my parents talked me out of it, and then a year later I saw it again for like $300, and my parents were like, "Well, why didn't you buy it back then?"
Moving on.
Yes. So it allows Ichigo to turn into a Soul Reaper, and it also alerts someone who hollows are about.
Nothing else whatsoever. We
Luck-
promise.
Luckily, only Ichigo or those with the ability to see and hear spirits will hear the badge go off. People can see the badge, but they just don't see the eyes go off, and they don't hear it make a screeching noise.
Yeah, that'd be kind of really bad.
Yeah, this is Ichigo's first time it goes off, and well, he's in his school uniform, so he's in class.
So, pretty much
But
life goes on as normal for Ichigo at
yeah,
this point.
until it goes off one day for a bigger deal. So we remember how big and tough Chad was.
That's a man's foot.
That's Chad standing up, I'm pretty sure.
At least leaning over to block it, yeah. But yeah, the point is, there's another big dude.
Yeah, I wonder how strong this dude is.
I'm gonna say pretty strong.
Yep, this is your introduction to the Arrancar, which
Oh,
are hollows that have broken their masks and gained the powers of a Shinigami or Soul Reaper. There is no translation for Arrancar, they just use Arrancar straight out in both the English and the original Japanese. So,
I like the term. It's
yeah.
unique. It's
hmm
now the thing about the Iran cars. A lot of their language is very Spanish in
hmm
terms.
Uh, I believe it also flip flops between mainland Spanish and uh, South America, Central America Spanish. So there is a little bit of incorrectness in certain areas depending on how you speak it. Because I do know there are differences between Mexican Spanish and Spanish Spanish.
Well, I just know it not to try and sound overly, but I
Mhm.
just know it overall. It's Spanish. That's about as far as I know.
Yeah, due to the way I was raised, I tend to try and emulate people's accents for how they pronounce words. Some people find that kind of annoying, other people find it nice. So if I upset someone who's Spanish speaking by how I pronounce these Spanish words, I'm terribly sorry. I'm very, very
Well,
white.
I
I'm
don't
very,
think
very English white.
if you're offended, we do apologize, but realize that we're trying to do it from the show's point of view, from what we
And
heard
our
from the show.
and around terrible mispronunciations.
Yes, we.
Soul's mispronunciations sometimes even bug me, but I try not to get on his case for it because it's just the way he is.
Yeah. Again, moving on.
Yeah. So the Arankar also have Zanpakutos. Will those contain their true powers? So
Well,
rather than uh their souls being in the sword and they express it outwards like the Soul Reapers do, they contain their powers in the sword, and then when they release their swords, they become their true selves.
hmm, it's a weird thing. We'll get more into it later because that gets
Yeah,
really showed off in later arcs.
yeah. Just think about it in this sense that most Arankar, when they release their swords, are getting a power increase equivalent to a Bankai.
Yeah. Think about it this way: they're pretty much kind of putting their mask back on, essentially.
Yeah, giving them some
Even if that
strange
sounds weird.
powers because the Hollows have some strange weird powers and it's
Yeah.
really fun.
Hmm. But I like that about them because it just makes them different. They're not just copying a.
Mhm. It's an inverse of the Soul Reapers, and I
Mhm.
do like that.
And if you
So
notice, really, right by Chad's elbow, that is a good chunk missing out of that.
let's see a better look at how damaged this Arankar did to his arm. That looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, look up the original manga version. It's worse.
I do like the chance to look at Chad's arm. The way there's a red
Hmm.
stripe going down the middle with the white around it, and then just the rest of it's just black.
Yep.
Like it's a good image showing of it.
Hmm.
Fortunately, Orihime was nearby to heal that.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he'd
Well,
be losing an arm.
why are these two Arankar here? Well, these are Aizen's flunkies. They were sent from the Hollow World to observe and collect data. So they're just here. Why was Chad fighting them immediately? Well, the big guy, his name is Yami, he showed up and started using a technique to just eat all the souls around him.
Mm-hmm. He's
Their
a
friend
hungry fat ass.
the first friend Tatsi barely didn't get her soul so good. She is stuck in like a kind of a
Coma.
mental crash. Not a coma, more like frozen, like almost in shock.
Mm.
So without her able to move, Chad does the Chad thing. Become a brick wall and defend.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that didn't turn out very well. And even with Orihime healing, I don't think they're gonna have stand much of a chance.
Well,
If only
it's a
they had
good thing we got Bankai Ichigo.
yep. A dramatic entrance, a dramatic transformation, and we get to witness the huge power gap Ichigo has now gained between his friends because, yeah, first off, that's how big Yami is.
Yeah, he is very big. Chad would be
And
about right where the tip of his sword is at the biggest.
I imagine
For
about that. Maybe,
inconsistencies in the
yeah,
animation. But
let's
I'm just
just
saying,
be,
just for just at biggest he would be in case he's like into the ground or something. But probably about here where Chad would be. And this
yeah,
is Yami.
yep.
That's a good couple of feet.
Yeah, but not only is Ichigo very good at blocking this attack, which really, his counterattack leaves Yami a little bit lopsided.
Yeah,
I'll give Yami this. He loses an arm and then immediately still keeps trying to punch his way out of this problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad somebody else. Oh, just in case this is how do you pronounce his name?
Ukiora.
That's just Yami's partner. The one to keep him Yami in line.
Yeah.
Just remember how strong he is.
Yeah, so. But
But
remember Ichigo's first time he went Bankai? Wasn't there a slight problem with it?
mm,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's okay.
I mean, just standing there trying to convince your other half
I
not
mean,
to
we got
fight.
friends.
Yeah. So Ichigo freezes out in the middle of this fight after I think Ukiura does something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And his inner hollow wants to play. And Ichigo knows for a fact if I let that thing out and go wild in the area, I don't think it's going to care about my friends in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to Kisuke and Yoruichi to bail him out.
Good thing they're powerful.
Yeah, I know this is not from this scene, but I freaking love Kisuke's sword abilities.
And plus, it's a good example that he is
Hmm.
more than just a candy man.
Yeah, Kisuke, we found out last season, was a former captain, so he obviously can hold himself in a fight. We also know Yoruichi, who's a former captain of the Soul Reapers army. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is just really damn fun to watch. And later on, Yami returns for a rematch, and Kisuke trolls him the entire fight.
Just look at those dead eyes. He's not having any fun.
He was just shooting at Kisuke, and all of a sudden, Kisuke's right behind him, taunting him about, oh, if you don't behave, Aiden's going to be mad at you. But he really should be worried about making Kisuke mad.
I do like his sword. Like,
Benihime is a really damn cool sword.
it makes me think of a very Chinese design sword, but I can't. I know it's a style, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, that actually does work for Kisuke. He doesn't. He never really fit in the Soul Side fully.
But that blade design just makes me, especially with the handle, the tip of it
Yeah,
not being there, or it is there, but it's not.
I love the tassel at the end
Yeah.
and the little red ribbon around it. Because
Mm-hmm.
Benihime, I believe means blood princess,
Screaming Blood Princess or something like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
But it just reminds me of a very Chinese like blade.
it makes you think it's a very ornate sword that you wouldn't expect to be taken off the wall.
Mm-hmm. But moving on. So after the fight, we make sure we always eat properly
Yeah,
because recovery is very important.
Yoruichi is a hand-to-hand fighter, and she also beats the crap out of Yami. This is the result. Her left arm
Yeah.
gets pretty
We
badly mangled because we find out the Arankar have something called Hero, which is iron skin in translation. Basically, they're stupidly strong physically. Like
yeah,
it takes a lot.
it's pretty much the Arankar version of what Pachi Zarakai has.
Yeah, only it's natural, and it can be stronger based on how strong they are.
Yeah.
But you can like specialize in it. We later find out one of the high-ranked Arankar he specializes in the strongest armor.
Now, just for reference, these two dolls with Yorichi are much like Cone. They are
Mod
um
cells in
mod cells. That
dolls,
was it. Mm-hmm.
and they are characters from the Bounce series. See, the thing about the anime, they tried to incorporate the Bounce stuff into the general flow of the show, but eventually they just kind of drop it. Also, you may notice that all the plates around Yoruichi are empty. Yeah, she's doing the whole shonen trope of good fighter, big eater.
Mm-hmm. But
And there's
okay.
a gif. There's the image of these two handing her full plates and taking the empty plates away. It's on a loop.
I mean, this also kind of proves that the battle arc, while canon for the most term, despite being a filler,
Yeah, it was canon in the anime for a while, but then they just kind of faded
and
away.
it you lose and drop nothing because these two actually had some interesting abilities that could have been useful, but
They stopped being relevant very quickly.
mm-hmm.
And they do show up in a couple of filler fights in the Aranka arc, but I can't remember if those are full filler arcs or their contributions make it filler. I don't.
And like we said, contributes absolutely nothing to the overall story at this moment.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I do know people who actually do like these characters.
oh, I
So
like the little green guy that looks like a Saboteur.
yeah, it looks like a Cactar or Sapatender.
Yeah, I do like him,
Hmm.
but I can't remember his name for the life of me. I just know he's polite and he
All I
usually stayed with Chad.
Yeah, all I know is the bird is part of Ichigo's harem. He has no idea he has a harem.
So, moving on then.
Yeah, this is how Ichigo ended up in the fight. With him being so depressed, Kono decided to lay on top of him, being more depressed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not his
Ichigo is
best day.
depressed. Yeah, Ichigo is depressed because while he is strong and able to handle things, terrified to go full force because what happens if I let a hollow Ichigo out?
Yeah, he has learned that there are issues with his powers.
Hmm.
Now,
Maybe he got his powers too fast, and this is the consequence. Am I endangering my friends? But who can protect my friends? They're not strong enough. He is stuck kind of in a loop, and that's one of the reasons why I like him. He is sure feeling like an angsty, depressed kid right now, but he has legit reasons to, and those reasons I can really respect. Like
mm-hmm.
he has to protect his friends, but am I going to endanger them by protecting them?
Plus, not only that, he's also got the fear that eventually, even regardless of him using his power, will the inner Ichigo take over?
It did said it wanted the throne.
Mm-hmm. Inner Ichigo made it very clear, and like I said previously, Inner Ichigo up until the entire series, unless it's been retconned, it's a wordplay or maybe a mistranslation, has never once lied to Ichigo. He has made it
Yeah.
also perfectly clear he wants control.
Yep.
So there's that large issue right there.
Hmm.
So I just like this one because this is a very
Ukiura.
image showing of how he looks.
Yeah.
He's got.
Also,
I love his eye design for some reason. Like the
yeah,
green tone of his eyes. I just really like
they're
them.
very striking. Like
Mm-hmm.
It's Kubo found a way to draw a character that looks very much into the reader's soul. And what
And
I really like about that is Urukira can record data with his eyeball, remove his eyeball, and play it back, and then
right.
grow a new eyeball, which very handy for
There's
recon
also
abilities.
something else behind that. We'll get to in the next arc, or
Mhm.
as well. But I
But yeah,
also like he's also one of the few characters I don't mind the face paint of the green going down his face.
yeah,
It's very striking with the white skin, his whole setup.
yeah, and the half and half with his remains of his hollow mask. All the Arankar have remains of part of their hollow mask somewhere on their body.
Mm-hmm.
So his black hair and his hollow mask helmet, splitting him right down the middle, does make him a very striking design. While he's not one of my favorite of the Arankar, I will never say his design is bad.
Right. He
Characterization, I don't really care for, but design-wise, it's another
well
example of
characters.
Kubo.
Okay.
Just Kubo could just make designs, and I can be like, shit, I don't like the character, but goddamn, does that look cool, or goddamn, does that look creepy, or that looks beautiful. He
Well,
is in a range of them.
I will also say this: characterization. He does his job. He plays his role. He is there for a reason. You might
Mm-hmm.
not know what it is right away, but I will give Kubo credit for this. Like every main character that's brought in like this has a role, and they feel like a character less more than they
Yeah.
do the role, but they are
Sometimes,
there for a role.
sometimes their role is very minor. Sometimes their role is just to expand the world, but you don't really need it to enjoy the story. But Orkira, it will become much more important the next season.
Mm-hmm. Along with a lot of the Iran car, really.
He is
This is more their
also
introduction,
a fan favorite character for a lot of people.
and I can
And
understand why, especially in the next arc.
to me, he's basically Sasuke Uchiha done right.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to argue with me about that. If I upset you, I'm terribly sorry, but I just didn't care for Sasuke. I like Okura more, but I don't like Okura that much.
So we get the whole group coming in because of the attack of the
Yeah,
Iran car. We
Aizen
get.
is a traitor to Soul Society. He's a big deal, so they need
Mm-hmm.
to take care of it. The Arankar are almost all strong as captains or high ranked Soul
Yeah,
Reapers, so we need to deal with that. And Soul Reapers' jobs are to protect the world living. So Captain Hitsugaya, the kid up
little
front,
guy with the white hair.
is
His
put in charge.
his lieutenant.
He's
Oh,
yeah,
good.
he's leading a charge of several swipers to defend Karakura Town. He brings his lieutenant, Ranki Kumatsumoto, on the
That
right,
Ikaku, whose last name I cannot remember for the life of me.
Ikakun Madarame, the third seat of Squad 11.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, he should be the lieutenant. He's the second strongest member of Squad 11. Next to that, on the left, is Yumichika. I don't remember Yumichika's last name. He's the fifth seat, but he should be the third seat. He's of Squad 11. He's also really strong. Then there's Renji, our former rival, now good friend, the lieutenant of Squad
Mm-hmm.
3.
So they
Squad 6.
sent 5 people of decent strength, including the
Mm-hmm.
captain in that group. So they're off to a
Yeah.
good start, at least sending somebody to keep an eye on things.
Yeah, they're not really sure what Aizen's action is going to be. They cannot fully send a full whole division of mooks to protect
But
Kakuo Town.
sending no one would be retarded.
So sending basically four heavy hitters is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And Toshiro is an expert in dealing with the human world when it comes to his squad, so it makes sense for him to be the squad leader of this mission.
Mm-hmm. So where are they going to stay?
What if I open my tab? Will that let me stay here?
Yeah, like we said, Rengiku knows that she is curvy.
Yeah, and yes, they are opposing as high school students because they never really give a good reason, in my opinion. It's just a
I think it's
joke.
just so they have an easier time dealing with Ichigo.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Like I think it's just one part how they so they can group up with Ichigo without it seeming really weird,
Yeah, but it
and one
does seem
part just
weird.
for the gag of these people don't of like Rukia not understanding the human world that well.
Of those who joined this group, Toshiro makes the least amount of sense because he looks like a junior high student at oldest.
Mm-hmm.
Rangiku does not look like any high school student in the universe, unless she's been held back a lot. Renji is coated in tattoos, so that wouldn't fly in Japanese school. Ikakun, yeah, he looks like he would start a gang before he joins school.
I would say he looks
Yumichika,
like he'd be starting all the fights.
Yumichika yeah, Yumichika may maybe work in the class setting, but there's another agent who came with them who would work much better in the high school setting.
Wata!
Yeah, when she's Rukia comes back, she has been freed of all charges since Aizen did trump them up and fake being the central body that got her arrested. So while she did break the rules, she broke the rules for all the reasons. She's been given a pardon. She's back into action. Her powers have been restored.
I would also like
But
to mention one other thing before we go any farther.
mm,
In the first arc, when Rukia was taken, everybody besides Ichigo, Uryu, and the gang all forgot she ever came to the human world, or that
yeah,
she was ever a transfer student, as it were.
mhm,
They had all their memories of Rukia erased. Now, when she comes back, I believe those memories were returned, if I remember
yes,
correctly.
returned to re-edit it.
Yes.
Regardless, why is she kicking Ichigo? Well, she took one look at his pity party he's in and decided to kick the crap out of it. It worked.
Yeah, that's kind of a common trope with these two.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why a lot of people ship them. They think they're, that kind of old arguing married
Okay,
couple.
since you brought that up, I'm going to say it now, just
Mm,
to clarify it now. I do not care who gets shipped with who in a general basis. I have my own
mhm,
opinion on who I think flows naturally. I will say
mhm.
that in the show. If you disagree or you think somebody else should be shipped with somebody else, that is fine.
Oh yeah, I don't want to start a shipping war. Everyone can have a nice
No.
boat to themselves.
But I will say this one:
And,
when people say that they ship these two, I can easily see it. They have good
oh
chemistry with each other.
yeah, yeah, they really do. But to me, it always felt more along the lines of Ichigo adopted another little sister.
Hmm. But at the
I
same
mean,
time, I could see it developing to
yeah,
to.
I mean, I could really see why Ichigo adopted a little sister because it's basically what his family does with Rukia.
Hmm. Speaking of that, oh, we gotta explain something real quick.
Yes, this is we. Well, I will never pass up a chance for art class with Rukia Kuchiki.
Just look at her face. She is just like waiting
I
to
love
kick him again.
And Renji, as her oldest friend, basically has no reaction because he's probably used to seeing this maybe thrice a day.
I think he's just afraid of being kicked again.
I mean, wouldn't you?
But so while Reggie
We,
stays with Kizuke,
which I love the joke on his shirt is red pineapple because his head.
you
So he becomes the
can just
moocher.
see the look on his face. Kizuke knows this,
Yeah, he's going to become the moocher at the or Shoten, and
which
they were moocher the entire time. They manage all of his food. He gets forced to do manual stuff around the shop. He wants to stay there.
yeah, that's also another running trend on that one.
Kisuke loves having Renji to boss around. Uh,
So basically, they take in a gurney and put it in Karen and Yuzu's room,
yeah. This time around, rather than stay in his closet, Ichigo and Rukia introduce her as a friend, and then Rukia comes up with this massive sob story so she can stay here. And her intention was to stay in the closet. No, Ishin took a gurney, wheeled into his daughter's room, and like gave her a name tag to it. And Rukia's reaction is, "I really wanted to stay in the closet." And Ichigo's just back there like, "I'm not gonna touch that joke with a 10-foot wall."
To be fair, I wouldn't touch that joke either.
Yes, you would.
Okay, I would, but I'm not going to say it right now.
Fair enough. But like I said, they really quickly adapt to having Ruki around the house. Karin and Yuzu kind of like having an older
To be
sister.
fair, Yuzu really bonded us up story too.
Yeah, she is gullible. Karin, I'm pretty sure she can tell Ruki is not human, but she's not gonna poke that hornet's nest. That's too much effort. She has to go be over there and be in denial about shit.
Like ghosts don't exist, despite me seeing them.
Yes. Also, I just want to include something with the sisters because from here on out, they pretty much drop out of the entire canon.
Which, to be
There's
fair, right now this is probably a good point to drop them out because a lot is going on that's over their heads.
Now, luckily, there are some filler episodes in this season that really do use the sisters quite well. I enjoyed them. It created another ship, if believe it or not. But we won't be talking about Toshiro joining Karin's soccer team.
Yeah. But like I said, you're not missing too much to the main plot, so we're just gonna push it aside for right now.
No.
I will say, however, that like Em said, they do get dropped for a good majority, but that's only because what would you do with them? They're two human girls that are going to go be fighting essentially
Mm.
superhumans. So it's kind of
They
like,
they could have given them powers, or they could have done something more with them, but at least they didn't do what people complained about with Spider-Man when he was married to Mary Jane and having constantly cut back to Mary Jane going, "Oh, I'm so worried about Peter," when they could have just had her not be there, have her show up when she's needed to the plot,
mm-hmm.
not just, "Oh, it's been 20 minutes since we reminded people that Spider-Man's no longer married. Should we cut back to Mary Jane flitting around the house in a random outfit?" So I prefer have them when they have them.
So this is comes up later on, but I just like having this image here because it looks like more like she's trying to argue about how cute Chappie is.
Yeah, the actual argument is when the Arankars show up, everyone basically is thrown for a loop because of how strong they are. Orihime, Chad, and Uryu want to keep helping Ichigo. Chad is permitted, we find out what happens later on. Uryu has his own thing going on, but when Orihime asks Kisuke for help to get stronger, he forbids her from helping because she is not able to fight, and he basically says along the lines of, if you can't fight, you can't protect yourself. It doesn't matter how well you can heal, you would end up being a liability in the long run.
And he's not wrong on that end.
But he is not delicate in the slightest. It really ends up making Orihime incredibly depressed. So Rukia, well, she kicked the depression out of Ichigo, but she realizes kicking the depression out of Orihime is not going to work. So she points out that Kisuke is talking complete bull crap when it comes to not just being a liability by pointing out that even her chappy, which is used to pilot her fake body while she's not fighting, is useful to the group. It doesn't need to fight to be useful. And you don't need to fight to be useful, but I can help you get stronger. And it ends up really cementing how these two become really fast friends,
I
and
God,
I really end up adoring it. We later find out how close their friendship
yeah,
is in in the end of the manga.
that makes no, that's okay.
Being a chappy though,
Yeah, but I would just like to say real quick, Kisuke is not 100% wrong. It
no,
felt like to me that he was trying to get a spark reaction out of Orihime, but
yes,
because of how her character is,
yeah, she didn't react the way greatly.
and that also was part of Kisuke's problem with her, I feel.
Yeah, well,
Like
Kisuke's used to dealing with hardened warriors or scientists. He's not used to dealing with a gentle soul civilian.
so on one hand, I kind of agree with
Yeah,
Kisuke
I
that,
agree with him. I do not agree with his method.
but at the same time, it's not as if I think he also realized that at some point he can't work with Orihime,
No, he really can't.
and that's if he tried, that might have caused even bigger issues.
Hmm.
So it's one of the other things that makes it feel organic is that no one's ever going to have the 100% right answer.
Yeah,
Could Kisuke have done it differently? Yeah.
yeah,
Did he? No. Okay.
Kisuke is probably the smartest character in the Bleach universe. Like, there's very few people who compete with him. But that does not mean he doesn't make mistakes, and he admits to making mistakes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he is not so high and mighty that he thinks he's perfect. That's why reasons why he leans so hardly in saying he's a humble candy shop owner, because that's where he feels most comfortable.
But
Despite
when
the
he
fact that,
is right, he is
yeah,
damn right. I will say that one.
yeah. And also, just because he does one thing intending for another thing to happen because of it, doesn't always mean plans go great. I mean, what they say, the plans always fall apart at the sight of at the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that's the difference between him and Aizen. Aizen's much better at manipulating people. Kisuke's much better at manipulating the situation, if that makes any sense.
to me it does. But moving on. Hi, Chappie.
Yeah, originally, before we got Cone, this is what she wanted to put in Ichigo's body: a happy, flittery schoolgirl who ends every sentence in hop.
Yeah, you think when someone that's supposed to try to blend with human society, they would not have the personality that they wind up with.
Yeah, I get why they did the Soul Society fight. Oh, they're so cute, or oh, that's hilarious. And they don't have to ever come back to the human world because when they're done, memory erase. Because the fake souls are just there to make things easier, so they don't have to spend every 5 minutes memory erase, memory erase, memory erase, memory erase. This is just so okay. It can autonomously move the fake body somewhere else, so I can immediately get into action. Unfortunately, that wouldn't have worked for Ichigo.
Oh god, no.
Uh, we didn't show this, but Chappie is brought out to tackle Ichigo and pin him to the ground for a few minutes so Ruki can show off.
Now,
I think I forget exactly why.
yeah. So speaking of, we go over to Orihime's
Uh,
house.
Arahime, your house has a tumor. At least it gets pretty decent resolution, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a weird TV set that's been set up in Orihime's house because Toshiro and Matsumoto are staying with Orihime because, she's got space.
the problem is that the bathroom's behind that TV.
God damn it, who set that up? But yeah, this is where head old man Yamamoto keeps in contact with Toshiro, gets updates, and informs him about any data they find from the world of the Hollows. He can say, we've had sightings of Irankar, we haven't seen any Irankar for a while. Much more direct communication to the head office rather than use their cell phones and go to the R&D department, which apparently is not the most reliable.
Or the butterflies that would just deliver instant messages.
Yeah, but those are living things and you can intercept them.
This is also true.
Yes, so this is direct. Also, I just think they wanted to. Kubo wanted to draw something weird in the background. And
Uh,
you know what? It's his series. It can do what the heck he
it
wants.
was almost like there's a frog face on the top of that TV.
There's also a face in the top right of the TV.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Kill me. I'm sorry. It just looks like it should belong to a horror series, but instead it's just casually there. I
I'm
guess
willing to bet
for.
this is an invention of what's his name.
Oh yeah, this is definitely Mayuri. He
I would,
has no aesthetic.
I would just also like to point out that from this shot, it looks like Orihime and Rengika could be sisters.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they're talking two old men because Toshiro's short and white hair, or a kid and an old man.
But they just look like they could be siblings, in my opinion.
And they get along amazingly. Their friendship is really kind of sweet, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I did not have the.
Rengiku kind of takes Orihime under her wing, trying to get her to relax more.
Mhm. To
Orihime's kind of.
There's a really sweet scene with Orihime feeling jealous of Rukia's ability to instantaneously help Ichigo, something she really wants to because she's crushing on him.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also feeling bad because Rukia's her friend. Why I shouldn't feel jealous of my friend, and Orihime is crying over this, and Rangiku comforts her, basically saying, "You're a sweet girl. You're not in the wrong to feel these ways. It's normal to feel these ways, but it's so sweet that you feel bad about feeling jealous." And it just really cements that while Rangiku can be a flake and lazy and kind of a drunk,
She is a
I,
caring person, regardless. She's not
yeah, it really
insensitive
it,
to a
it makes you
certain
think that
degree.
she's doing those vices to cope with her own life problems. Because
And she's got a few of those we'll get to a little later, too.
yeah,
But moving on. So Chad gets attacked.
yeah, the Rancor have a second attack. This time in force. There's a whole bunch of them this time. Unfortunately for Chad, while he sensed them coming, he didn't sense them about to pierce his throat. Yeah, that our Rancor each goes holding hands with is that hand was inches from going through his windpipe.
Yeah.
Chad couldn't see it. He couldn't react to it.
The
And Ichigo, the man who he's promised to always stand back to back with, tells him, "Run home. It's too dangerous for you."
Ichigo
That
didn't mean anything, dude,
he,
but
I mean, if he didn't, Chad probably would have died that fight.
yeah.
I
But I'm
mean,
just
I
saying with
would
what he said, I don't think Ichigo is 100% in the right state of mind either with everything
no,
going on. And
no. While he is feeling better about his hollow side, he is still greatly concerned about it.
yeah, so I don't think his what he said to Chad was fully thought out. But at the same time, it's like
You were about to
no,
die, man.
yeah, no offense to Chad, you're outclassed right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Chad is pretty much like a tank, but when it comes to these guys that move as fast as Ichigo does in Bankai,
Yeah, these guys are also firing anti-tank rounds.
yeah, kind of shit out of luck on that one.
Yeah, Chad is outmatched, and
Fortunately,
we have someone back to full strength. Dance, Sono no Shirayuki.
now this was a lot of people say one of the most beautiful
It is
Zanbakutos.
Yeah, in the Soul Society, it's declared the most beautiful Snow White Zanpakuto. In my opinion, it's the most impressive Ice and Snow Zanpakuto, even though somebody else has that title.
So basically, she makes a circle with that ribbon, and everything in that circle flash freezes pretty much,
It can go straight up or straight forward.
or sideways.
Yeah, it depends on how she draws the circle.
Mm-hmm.
She has three attacks, each referred to as a dance. One dance goes up, one dance goes forward, and one dance, well, that's for next season. But yes, she was always this strong. It's just in season one, she got jumped, being unprepared and distracted by Ichigo. Now we get to see how tough she is, and she's actually really tough. And I like that about Rukia. She went from the damsel in distress for legit reasons to one of the big guys.
Yep. And it
She
actually
doesn't.
felt natural.
It does. Some people said it was too instantaneously, but if you think about it, it really wasn't for her.
Well,
Also, the anime did help with that because in the Bount arc, she shows back up without her powers.
but she does get some better spells and showing increasing strength within the bound arc
Mhm.
as well.
Rukia feels very much along the lines of a powerful glass cannon.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, with how powerful her ice is, yeah, she freezes that entire rock car and smashes him. Unfortunately, he was the favorite rock car of somebody
Yep.
else, but we'll get to that later.
So
So, after
Chad,
hearing,
oh, go ahead.
Chad watched how basically Ichigo's Bankai could go toe to toe with the Iran car. So his response is to go to Kisuke, the other Shinigami he knows, or Sword he knows, and asks him, "Hey, I want to train against Bankai. I have this Mutra you can fight."
Well, also be fair, I'm about 10 times sure Kisuke would kill him.
Yeah, I don't know how we don't really know for sure how Kisuke's Bankai works 100%. It either will be the perfect training Bankai or the absolute worst to train against. Regardless, Chad's idea to train is to keep fighting Renji's Bankai over and over again. And at first, this is nothing to Renji. He's basically wasting energy on this. But slowly, Chad starts making headground on this.
Mm-hmm. And this really pays off in the next arc.
Mm. And it's just determination of Chad. He was told, "You are too weak." Oh, well, that sucks. Time to fix that.
Yep. Meanwhile,
Or he was told she was 2 weeks. So Ruki decides, let's go back to the Soul Society. I'm going to train you. Ruki doesn't use her sword because I don't think using an ice sword would be
well, I don't think Flash Freezing or Hime would get anything anywhere.
no, no. So let's practice magic. It's close to how you fight anyway, so it'll work for me.
Plus, Ruki was also considered a Keto expert as well,
Mhm.
so
Yeah. So I imagine this will be good. Like, honestly, if Orihime fought anyone too strong, that would be disadvantage to her. But Rukia is smart enough to realize, okay, if I can't really fight the same way as Orihime can, this will let me change up how I think and how I fight too.
plus it'll also have her adapt to a wide variety of abilities,
Hmm.
which is I think more needed for her what Orihime can do as well.
Yeah, because she has one attack, a shield, and a heal. She later learns how to use them differently, but hey,
Work
this is
with
for
what
the
you got.
yeah.
So moving on, we have a
That's
new visitor.
yeah. The second Arankar attack is led by this fellow, Grimjo Jaggerjox. And his first move during the fight after he loses his Arankar, take out Rukia.
Yeah, notice his hand going in and through her.
Yeah, I believe in the manga you actually get to see the hand come out the other side.
But yeah, she had no chance.
No,
Like, granted, Rukia's defense is
she's
not the
powerful.
greatest in the
Yeah,
world, but
yeah. Like I said, she's a glass cannon. She's fast. She can hit hard. But when someone hits harder and moves faster,
she's
you
boned.
know, yeah.
Plus,
Grimjaw doesn't fight fair.
no. And that's a zero he's about to fire out of his hands, folks.
Yeah, Aceros are the special red or multi-horde attacks that hollows have. The stronger you are, the more devastating it is. So it's basically it's the Ceros that are Kamehameha.
Yeah, a lot of hollows fire them out of their mouths.
Rankar can fire them from their hands or their mouths. Some can actually kick them.
Yeah, around card pretty much do whatever they want with them, essentially. Oh,
Yeah.
do we mention he's fast?
Yeah, that's how fast he is.
Not to mention how tough, because that's not even cutting his hand.
Hmm. Gripjow feels like the most balanced of the Arankar. He has no specialty, but he has no weaknesses.
Which in some cases is just what you need.
Yeah. So our preview image was a result of this fight of Grimjow stabbing his sword in through Ichigo's hand and foot, just, you know, because he could. He also can do this.
And punch the living snot out of him.
Put your JoJo Bizarre Adventure or your Fist of the North Star reference here because that's what he does to Ichigo's face.
I'd also like to point out that a lot like Ichigo, Grincho has no set style.
No, he's a Street Fighter.
Yeah. He will
No,
literally beat the shit out of you any way he can.
yeah, he'll cut you up if he wants to use a sword, or he'll punch you to death, or he'll stab you with his fist, or he'll blast you with his arrow. He does whatever the fight feels like natural to him. And Grimjow is he ends up becoming Ichigo's true rival character,
Mm-hmm.
the one that Ichigo takes the most personal from their fights. Although this is not a fight.
No, this is pretty much just a slaughter.
Yeah, Ichigo tends to have a lot of those things. He either gets completely owned or he completely owns. There's only a handful of fights we feel are pretty well balanced.
Yeah, one of those well balanced ones was with a filler arc. We'll go over, but I'll tell you which one it was later.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you notice, this is not Grimjow powering up, just for reference.
No, this is him tagging a shot from Hollow Ichigo.
Uh huh.
Now, it does leave a nasty scar along his chest.
Right there, right above where his sword and goes up and is on his arm a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's still standing there, and he took it a lot better than Byakuya did.
Yeah. In fact, he takes it very well. He's having the time of his life with it. This is whenever I think of Kubo's mastery of faces, I always think of Grimjow laughing.
I just liked how it shows that his mask does operate like a mouth,
It
like it
also
is.
distorts it and makes it more crazy
Mm-hmm.
looking.
But it's a well done image shot. But I just like it shows that the mask is literally part of his face and it moves with his face.
Hmm.
It's a well done image shot of what it is.
It also shows you that he's freaking mental.
Mm-hmm.
He is mad and enjoying it.
So, in case you wonder why no one comes to Ichigo's aid, yeah, they're kind of bitchy with their own shit.
Yeah, we also find out that anyone who is captain or lieutenant rank, when they come to the world of living, have to put a dampener on themselves so they don't release too much energy out and harm the nearby surroundings. So at first, the Scorpions are getting their asses handed to them until they finally get the cell service and contact the R&D department saying, "Hey, can you remove our limiters? We're getting our asses handed to us,"
Mm-hmm.
which allows this. This is from a different fight. I think it's from a filler fight, but it's just a really good image of Hitsukaya's Bankai. Daigre Hyorimaru. He is said to have the strongest ice and snow Zanpakuto. I'm just going to reveal this one spoiler. His kill count is nothing.
I will say this one though. I think that's only because Ruki has not gotten Bankai yet.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
okay, if you count filler though, he actually has a kill count. Without filler, he doesn't have a kill count.
no,
And if,
but
and if he does, it's from assistance from somebody else.
to be fair,
Yeah.
his Bankai I feel in some ways is still not finished.
No, it also is really freaking cool because what you can't see is his sword is being held in his hand, and his hand is coated in a ice dragon biting the blade. Those
And
are
he's also
massive.
got ice claws on his feet.
Ice wings and a long ice tail, which all move. So yeah, Hyorimaru lets him control ice. Daigai Hyorimaru lets him control a lot of ice.
By taking the water in the atmosphere and freezing it instantaneously.
Now, while his kill count is low, his fights are pretty impressive. I still generally enjoy them. I
Mm-hmm.
just mm,
The only problem he has currently with his Bankai is that he has a time limit on it.
yes,
And that was represented by a.
three floating giant flower petals made of ice, and they slowly melt. Each flower petal is made of four segments. There's three, so he's got 12 segments to work with.
However long his segment is, up to the writer.
It's up to the fight. It's up to the. I think at one point he fights someone with a lot of heat, so it increases the flowers melting.
So, yeah, it's a little random on that one, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
Oh, and Uryu apparently lost his Quincy powers.
but unfortunately, his soul still is delicious to hollows. In
Yeah.
fact, that's a special Menos Grande chasing him.
Which, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I think the reason he lost his powers is because he snapped the bow early in when he was fighting.
Well, no, the way that glove worked is he was never supposed to snap it. There was no point where it'd be safe to snap that bow.
Okay, I was not 100% sure.
But he had no choice because he was going to die from a mad scientist. Luckily for Uryu, while he was in the Soul Society, he filled various Quincy contraptions with pure energy. So he's able to defend himself. He's just not able to move super
Hmm.
fast, shoot bows, but he's able to leave traps. But he does get his powers back this season.
Yeah, all thanks to da 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 da.
That's his dad, Ryukin Ishida, who, yes, is a Quincy, doesn't refer to himself as last Quincy. That's
But
Uryu's
wait, I thought
title.
Uru was the last Quincy.
But to get Uryu's powers back, go back to that last image. That's Ryukin shooting his own son. He has to basically train for days on end, running and dodging his father's arrows. And until when he gets completely exhausted, his father goes for the killing shot. It isn't a killing shot, it's several millimeters left of the heart. To the point where if it wasn't done, aimed perfectly, Uri would die, but doing so forces his body to near death and awakens his Quincy powers once more.
Hmm.
And from then on, the two of them trained.
So this is Ichigo's new savior.
Yes. We have been uh, dancing around things all over the place, but allow me to introduce you to Shinji. I can't remember his last name. I just know he is really fun.
So there is something very important about Shinji. You might notice what his hand is doing. Shh, it's a secret.
Shinji also poses as a high school student to get close to Ichigo once Ichigo returns. He's been floating about here and there. In fact, he was referenced earlier. Kubo wanted to be introduced in the first season, but they had to jump to the Soul Society because of
Yeah,
that editorial mandate.
but
But Shinji is referred to as a Vizard or
mhm.
Vizardo.
Now we'll explain
Uh,
a little bit more about that in a few moments. Bear with us, please.
yeah,
But you can tell from this image that yes, he does have a hollow mask, but unlike Ichigo, he seems to be able to take it off.
hmm and make it at will. Also, I like the design of his.
It's it has a very Egyptian feel to me,
hmm
or something more maybe from Africa, possibly.
It feels like a death mask to me, like an actual real death mask you'd put on someone venerated.
True. I'm just saying it has either an Egyptian feel to it or maybe an African feel to it.
Well, technically Egypt is in Africa.
Fair point. So yeah, he kind of cleans his clock.
Yeah. Now, at first, Ichigo doesn't want to deal anything with Shinji because Shinji just shows up saying, "Hey, you're a visor now. You're joining us."
Yeah.
Ichigo's like, "No, I'm fine. I don't want these powers." No, 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 no. It's not a choice. You're a visor. You're joining us.
So during another attack with
Yeah, Grimjaw
Grimjow.
shows up. This is a much later fight. Shinji shows up and kicks the crap out of Grimjaw without having to even release his Zanpakuto toe. He
Oh,
just
and
beats through it.
also decides to fire Cyril back.
Yeah, basically, Vizards are the inverse of a Rankar. If a Hollow can gain Reaper powers, shouldn't a Reaper be able to gain Hollow powers?
Mm-hmm.
So rather
So,
than break a mask, they make a mask.
but yeah, they're gonna be great friends. The
Yeah,
greatest. He's new Reggie.
not really. No,
No, not at all.
Shinji pretty much beats the crap out of Ichigo at one point. One night, he basically says, "I'm going to show you. You gotta join us."
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't work as
Shinji
well as he.
is. How do I want to put this? Sometimes has too much
I
fun
don't know how you
playing
want to put
around.
this. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I think he has sometimes has too much fun playing around.
Yeah, he kind of does.
But so yeah, Ichigo doesn't like when he shows up to his high school.
He keeps showing up, and he goes like, "Okay, I already told you no. Why are you still showing up?" And he's she's just like, "I'm just gonna keep showing up until you agree."
So, as mentioned, Reapers with hollow powers are called Vizards.
and it's generally frowned upon.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the bigger question: how does this happen? We will get
Mhm.
into their next season, folks. That really kind
Yeah,
of comes up then.
which makes me wonder. Like we know for a fact there's an artificial way of making Vizards and a run car, and there's a natural making of run cars. Is there a natural way to making Vizards? We never find out.
There, we may have, but that's more still artificial technically. But again, that's later down the road,
Mm,
so we will
we don't.
discuss that then. But
The
as
thing
we
with the
currently
Vizard,
understand it, as of right now, technically we don't know they're artificially made.
yes, we know that, but the thing about the Vizards is they're underused.
Yeah, they terribly really are underused. I mean, they're great for the training arc for Ichigo. They're great for the fight with um, the Rancor army in the next arc. But after that, it just goes nowhere. Like, there's not
There's
really much
the
difference
char-
between them, the Vizards, except for like
and
Ichigo, and a
yeah,
regular Reaper.
yeah. It they're very very poorly used to the point where you might even forget they can do anything.
Yeah.
But
I,
when they're doing what they're doing, when they do Vizard things, yeah.
I mean, I do understand that essentially all they're doing is putting on a masking and a humongous boost in power, but you think they could learn to do something more interesting with like Theros or Hollow. I think
Hmm.
that's the problem is they don't really go Hollow enough with that. Like
Yeah, well, the
they,
rock card leaned heavily into the Reaper stuff
mm-hmm.
at times. Some of
and
them don't lean far enough.
and did different things with the. Well, that's variation. I can understand that one. Someone leaned more, someone leaned less.
The
I can
Visors
understand that.
themselves are a much smaller group, and they feel much more homogenized in the Willfire Sorrows
Yeah.
and Willfire Sorrows.
Anything else like eat soul energy or
No. How about other Arankar techniques? No.
but the Vizar is just we just get a energy boost that kind of just
No.
feels useless
One
sometimes.
Vizard breaks that rule, but he's a bad guy. We'll find out later.
I'm trying to think of who
And
you mean, but you're going to have to remind me later.
yeah, I will later.
So, but this is our Vizar group. Notice the stark tone and or contrast in tone.
Hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. This is perfectly fine and dandy. That like they're trying to blend in with the human world. How I'm not entirely sure, but
Well, yeah, it is confirmed they are using Gigais, so they most likely got them from a certain arms dealer. Probably traded for candy.
now
I still, I still like that joke. We later find out you could bribe Keyscape with candy. He owns a candy store.
the only man that the my favorite Vizards are the two on the left. Kensei, and I can't think of the girl in the Sailor Fuku
Lisa.
outfit. Lisa, thank you. I
Yeah,
cannot think of her
yeah.
name. Those two are my
My fa
favorite.
my favorite is also Kensei, the one on the left, and the big guy in the back, Hachi,
I do like Hachi. I forgot his name.
or Hachigen, I believe his name is.
I think they just call him Hachi.
And Hachi for just short. And the next most prevalent one is the little short stack, Hiyori in the front.
God, I hate her.
Now, the green hair one, I'm disappointed in for one simple reason. She's a Kamen Rider reference.
Yeah, I like that about her, and at the same time, it feels like they could have done so much more.
They could have done so much more. She sucks.
She's also the one that could also have her mask on the longest.
I think I forget for hours, like almost a day or so.
I think she was 2 hours in the anime, but I could be wrong.
Um, I don't remember. I'm gonna actually check that because it just bugs me.
Yeah, but basically, these are the visors. They're all capable of summoning a mask.
15 hours. She can wear it for 15 hours. She's
Hmm.
the record holder.
I knew she was the record, but I thought it was 2 hours. But no, well,
Mm,
might be one of the other ones that I heard might have heard.
yeah,
Not important. But Hachi is kind of like a keto expert of the group,
yeah. We don't get to see these guys really fight until the next season, but
but they still show up and they're there to help train Ichigo.
yeah. So
Ichigo shows up with a huge chip on his shoulder, though.
yeah,
So,
he
notice
doesn't
something
go
about
there.
his eye.
Yeah, he goes there to force them to teach him by fighting them, not to learn from them, not to join them.
Hiyori has also a chip on her shoulder about everything. and a snaggletooth.
Yeah.
And
I also
she,
like how she tends to wear her mask more on her side to
yeah,
not to waste all its power at once.
and she pretty much spars with Ichigo, just pretty much showing off and not doing much.
Yeah, she doesn't take it easy on him either. She kicks the crap out of him.
No,
Which what happens when he gets the crap kicked out of him?
and
All
just
right,
I
he
keep
starts losing control.
and yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah. Luckily for Hiyori, she has some friends.
Yeah, and it probably didn't take all of them to hold him down, but Hiyori, I don't think would have objected.
No, I don't think it would have taken off in the
And
whole.
you could see the fear in her face when she realized, oh shit, I almost died from that.
Mhm. I also like how Hachi has his arm around three visors to get it around.
Oh yeah. I also like the only one smart enough to put their sword underneath the mask was
Yeah.
Shinji when he goes to pop it off. Everyone else is like, we'll just point it at him.
I mean, to be fair, if the Hollow Ichigo does wiggle too much, they're going to stab him by without having to do anything.
You know, I do like this image because it shows how different their hand guards
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Every story pretends to have a different kind of handguard design or even different
I think
cord.
it's called like a Tsubaki, if I remember the terminology right.
You are more of the samurai expert than I am.
Yeah. But I also like that Kenzei's the one pinning down his hand.
Oh, I remember that now. The big guy with the glasses and the Yugi hair without the colors, his name is Love. That's why he has a heart for a guard.
so
I think the last one's name is Rose.
so Ichigo they take Ichigo in, and now he is doing manual labor.
And by manual labor, we don't mean clean. Well, he's basically exercising on Huri, especially
No, no,
designed.
no cleaning whatsoever.
Oh, right, he is doing manual labor. There's a lot of good gags with the visor, actually.
Yeah, that's one of the other things they do good gags. But pretty much he's put under Hiyori for training, and she is terrible at this.
Yes, she makes him exercise until he's exhausted, and the thing is, he knows it's going to take days for him to get exhausted
But
and reform.
she never explains to why they need him exhausted.
Mm.
Like it's like here, do this until you're exhausted. It's like why? Eh.
This will take days for me just to exercise in this exercise book until I'm exhausted.
And you get the feeling that Shinji was a little surprised by that
Yeah.
because Ichigo, as we explained at the beginning of all this, is a very special case in a lot of ways. And this is all lore building for him.
Hmm.
Like everything that he gains in power is also gaining a bigger mystery,
Hmm.
which also builds cases for foreshadowing, which is, again, I think a strong suit for this series. This right here is just foreshadowing, in my opinion. Like there's just
But
yeah,
yeah, because he's living with them since the train, he's got to help them out with their daily lives. So they put him on the rotation of cooking and cleaning. I mean, they don't make him be the only one who cooks and cleans. They take
mm-hmm,
turns. But because you're with us, you're part of the chore wheel now.
mm-hmm.
I freaking love that they gave him an apron.
So eventually, it just gets to the point where they actually finally decide all bets are off. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty.
Well, no, basically they get tired of Ichigo bitching at them.
Yeah, pretty much like I said, they can just get down to
So
the nitty gritty.
they jump him in.
Yeah, so we're just gonna holify your ass.
Yeah, they knock him unconscious, and while he's unconscious, well, there's no one to get in the way of the hollow.
So basically, they put him in a cell and they fight him to keep him contained.
Yeah, they take rotations. Like I think they're supposed to, I think each one says they'll fight him for so many hours and then tag out.
Each one
My
was
favorite,
1 hour.
yeah, my favorite joke is they counted Hachi in it, and Hachi's the one maintaining the barrier. So he's just like,
It's either one
what?
hour each or 10 minutes each. I can't remember which, but it was
I can't remember
super.
what it is, but they counted Hachi into it, and he's just sitting there like, but I have to maintain the barrier. How am I supposed to fight him?
Yeah, but it's a set period of time for each fight, so Ichigo doesn't wind up killing them, or they don't wind up killing Ichigo.
So yeah,
But it's
now he's
completed by the time everyone's had a turn. They have to put Ichigo down.
yeah. This is also why Soul really likes Kensei. He rushes in to save Lisa when she's getting exhausted and overwhelmed, and he's no nonsense for how he fights.
Yeah, and his sword, his shikai, is pretty much an army knife that makes things explode.
It's a combat knife, yeah. Also, you can notice Ichigo's body is also getting really twisted.
Yeah, if you also notice, there's some white stuff coming out of that hole.
Yeah, and that can't be
Might need to
good.
see a doctor about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
There's you can see the combat knife right there.
mm-hmm. And that he is not afraid to use that thing.
No, no. Also, he's holding up against a Bankai with the
Yeah,
Shikan, so you can tell
a
he's
hollow
tough as
flying
hell.
bond guy.
Yeah, you can tell he's tough. You also can tell why they're taking rotations for this because obviously that's not something you want to fuck around with for too long.
Yeah, like I said, if it went on too long, they'd wind up killing one or the other.
Mm,
But yeah, Ichigo also tends to have high speed regeneration while doing all this, which is
yeah,
speeds up the holification.
yeah. But you kind of have to injure him in order to survive. So, but how does this end up looking near the end? Not good. Not good. Also, I'm gonna give credit to the noises John Young Bosch makes during this transformations.
I'm gonna give credit to the sound guy because that was beautifully done.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wish I
Like
knew
if
his name, but full kudos
if
to
you
those guys.
yeah, there's probably a full
Sound
team.
this is for you.
Yeah,
But so yeah, Ichigo can fire his arrow now too.
yeah. He's getting more and more bestial. There's no control in this form, and
Hi,
it never loses its sword, so it can still fire beams from its sword.
imagine seeing that down a dark alley.
Um, I'm gonna make a small tangent. I can kind of make the growl noise this thing makes.
Yeah, I don't know how well that came up over the mic, so
I hope it came out okay, but I made that creepy noise one time while I was in college. The light in the elevator went out. I was in the basement heading up to the upper floor. Somebody got in but didn't notice me. It was a big guy and two of his friends who were talking to him. And I made the noise out of complete boredom because I'm like, I'm doing laundry. I want to go to bed. I'll make a scare. This will be funny. The elevator stopped on the fourth floor. There were no rooms on the fourth floor. The big guy bolted. His two friends, they turned around. The two girls just started giggling at me. They had fun. Like they clearly were into good spooks, but he bolted. I friggin' loved it. I never
I
saw that guy in the elevator ever again.
I also love the fact that Ichigo grew a tail.
Yeah, I also like how his creepy ass feet are and how he has ankle blades. Actually, those ankle blades remind me of Kamen Rider Gills.
You know, now that you mention, it, I can see it.
Oh god, he has a rider kick.
He's also got some shoulder blades.
Yeah, like those claw fingers as well. Jeez, up and downs.
Like this is
Also,
well designed.
also the weird fur on his arms.
Yeah. Too bad this is the only time we'll ever see this.
Canon wise, yes.
Yeah.
But what's
Meanwhile, on
going
the
on?
inside,
Yeah,
someone
despite the
forgot
fact,
their lipstick. Thank God.
yeah, he decided to stop eating all lipstick. Oh, by the way, I believe that lipstick thing was an anime exclusive. I don't think the manga did that at all.
But still, just thank God
Yeah,
it's gone.
yes. So, despite the fact that Ichigo's body is hollowing on the outside, Hollow Ichigo is still on the inside, able to talk to him. And so, I believe he does intense interrogations, intense negotiations when it comes to conversations.
This pose can't mean anything, could it?
Mm.
Oh God. But yeah, you might notice a slight similarity in their stances right now.
You might also notice the differences in their swords. I
Yeah.
like this detail now. Now that he's not using the Zangetsu Ichigo does, he's using his own.
And I will say this: one, I do kind of like his better,
I,
but
I like them both because without one, you wouldn't have the other.
true. But I think it's just how this one. Like I kind of see the meaning behind the both of them. I'm just kind of like the black cloth
Mhm.
more for me.
Hmm.
But I think it's only because it's a much nicer Stark with the pure white of his outfit. Because Ichigo has some. It's really weird. I can't really.
No, I understand. I like them equally.
Mhm.
Because of the second one, I like the first one more, or at least be liking the second one more. So it ends up being
Yeah.
a nice loop.
But this
It's a
is.
very
But yeah, this is
there's a
basically
lot of skills to do
foreshadowing
it.
to. Hey, I could Bankai too.
I love the line. Ichigo yells, "When did you learn Bankai?" His response is, "When you did."
Yeah. Also, one other thing in this world, Old Man Zangatsu is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, Ichigo keeps asking where Zangetsu is, and all the whole Ichigo keeps yelling as I am Zangetsu. So what the hell could that mean? Did he eat Old Man Zangetsu? Because he's taking over Ichigo's powers, is he taking everything?
Hey, Eb, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a king and a horse?
Mm,
And I don't mean the obvious things like one has two legs, one has four. Form, ability, and function. If all these are the same, then what's the difference? Instinct. Basically, um, Inner
yeah.
Ichigo complains about how Ichigo tries to use his brain to solve every conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it does lead him to overthinking how the results of all of his fights.
Yeah, sometimes the easy solution to a fight is to just knock the guy out.
Mm. Which
You can
also,
talk your way to some, but you need to stop trying that for everything.
yeah,
You need to stop overanalyzing. You need to stop thinking, oh, there's got to be some trick to this fight. Oh, there's got to be some trick to that guy's powers.
you have a killer blade and your enemy is right in front of you. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which also made me think back to when he was training under Kizuki. Kizuki
Mm-hmm.
was trying to teach him resolve of what he wanted to do. Not
Mm-hmm.
being wishy washy or being afraid to save his friends, but to have the resolve to go and do it. Not necessarily having to kill everything, but that was just Kizuki's point in reference that you may have to. You have to have the resolve to do this in order to accomplish what you want.
Yeah, good
So,
starting point. Follow through each goal doesn't quite have.
yeah. But,
Yeah,
Hollywood Ichigo still kind of wins.
yeah, he doesn't fight fair. And in fact, he points out that Ichigo has been copying his attacks at points.
Mm,
The black Getsuga Tensho from the Bankai form, that's white Ichigo, that's Hollow Ichigo's attack. So
mm.
anytime Ichigo's been doing it, he's been trying to copy that, and it's not as impressive as his.
Because,
And plus,
because,
he fights way more savagely.
mm-hmm. And there could be another reason for that, which kind of feels like a spoiler if I bring up the point, so I'll kind of keep it to myself for now.
Yeah. We might do a special episode at the end where we go back and just talk about all the things we wanted to talk about because they were spoilers.
Yeah. But
I doubt we will, but it's an idea we might do.
this comes
Also, I,
in.
I gotta say one thing.
Hmm.
Whoever does Hollow Ichigo has a great nail job.
Yeah, he does. He does a great manicurist in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
What if that's what Ichigo considered doing for a career at one point?
Mhm.
And there's just like a shop right down the right down the building.
I mean, Ichigo does have two sisters. One of them's very girly, so I can see that happening.
But this is a nice image because it just shows this really stark uh,
Yeah,
difference between the two of them.
yeah. Ichigo's all banged up, and the Hollow has not a mark on him. He owned that fight.
So Ichigo kind of has a
He,
vision,
he
epiphany.
goes in, goes inside his own head, inside his own head.
Jesus Christ, I thought Alexander was terrible with this.
So yeah, he's basically thinking about everyone he's fought up till now, and this is Jin Kazuya. He's a Bount. He's the big Bount from the last season, and Ichigo's reflecting on everything. The anime decided to add in extra scenes of more reflections and whatnot.
Yeah,
So why not?
previously it was Kenpachi,
And Byakuya.
Byakuya, and I think Old Man Zangetsu showed up for a moment.
I can't remember. I rarely watch that part when I rewatch this, but I do like, as this is another example of the anime tried to incorporate things, and Jin is one of the best parts of the Bount series. I will not say anything really bad about
To be
Bount.
fair, up to this point, this is also one of the fights that up to this point Ichigo had problems really dealing with.
So the anime leaned on it, and I like that. It's an example of using filler wisely,
Hmm.
regardless if the filler is good or not.
So Ichigo has his epiphany, pulls his head out of his ass, and
Mhm.
turns the white sword black that was currently stabbing him.
He just grabs onto it with his hand and it just shoots up the blade. The blade was obviously not this long. This is just a really nice dramatic shot. It's
Mm.
and the way the darkness swirls around the sword is so iconic.
But who was holding that sword? Him?
Oh yeah, it was still in the whole hands of somebody else. So as he reclaimed the sword, he's made it his. It's Darius and Black. Now the Hollow doesn't have a weapon.
And Ichigo decides to return the favor without
Mhm.
thinking.
Which turns his outfit black.
Now you can't see it in his image, but when Ichigo was when inner Ichigo was holding the sword and Ichigo grabbed it and turned black, inner Ichigo's hand turned into a regular same colored skin tone as Ichigo's.
He jumped back in surprise, like, what the? That's not supposed to. Oh, crap. I.
Now this point, inner Ichigo makes reference saying that he'll play the role of the horse for now,
Mm-hmm.
but if you should weaken, I'll take the crown again.
Yeah, he's not afraid to turn this card around and stomp on you.
He's basically telling them that this is our instinct. If you fail it, I'll take over. Showing
Mm-hmm.
him that just because how he wants things to work doesn't mean that's how they're going to.
Yeah, and also hinting that even though he's beaten his inner demons, they're not gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's beaten them, not destroyed them.
So the outer shell falls off, and wow, I think I found out where the lipstick went.
Yeah, you may also notice on the falling off mask that it's actually a different design of lines on it,
Mm-hmm.
showing that Ichigo has gained control for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
He can maintain that mask for 5 seconds, and that's pretty impressive.
So now he can do what they do and summon it at will for a boost.
Hmm. His comes though like this, rather than the yellow or gold color
Which I
Shinji and the
like this much better.
yeah.
Just the way this looks, because it.
It also goes to show you that Ichigo is not like the other visors.
Mm-hmm.
We do know he, like the other visors, he's artificially created in a sense, but how?
We'll get
Eh.
details on that one later, but we also know that there, as we said, there's no naturally born. So how was Ichigo made? He was just a high schooler.
Mhm.
But there's a lot more going on, so no one really questions that yet.
Yeah, there's no time to. He just has to get better because
Training time.
time. Yep.
So now he's
And
training to try and keep his mask on for as long as possible and to learn to protect it because the mask can be broken if hit hard
yeah,
enough.
you can repair the mask, but obviously it takes time to repair it, like it does take time to put it on.
Yeah, it
So
takes time to put on. I think that also costs them energy.
yes.
So it's usually just a better idea just to protect it.
Hmm.
Because once it's completely broken, yeah, you lose everything.
Now the series is kind of vague on what happens when it breaks. Like, do you instantly go into shock, like you lose all defenses, or do you just go back to your state before? It flip flops on it a bit. I like to think, at this point, at least when it happened to Ichigo this season, it he goes into kind of a shock state, like
I
he's
think it
lost.
depends on
Just
your mastery of it as well. So
yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
because he's not used because if you like you said she's able to put it off to the side, so it kind of means that like if it's not fully on
Is she
or
using full power? I don't
yeah,
know. I
but
just think it looks cool. Also,
yeah, I'm just
we get to see the white of her sclera turn black more, and I do like that
mhm.
design.
Oh yeah. So there's other things
Hey,
going on at the time too.
so yeah, well, each goes out training. He has to leave his body somewhere, so he lets Cone run around it. And what's Captain Wacky doing here?
Bigger question: what's Ishin's or Ichigo's dad wearing?
Oh, it almost looks like a sorcerer outfit.
Is that
How
a
could that be?
bateau?
Oh, it looks like it. Like Kisuke seems to know him.
So we glossed over this, or maybe not mentioned at all in the first episode.
We glossed over it because I wanted people to experience the story in the rain itself.
But it
Because
kind of becomes a bigger role at this point.
this is from season one. This is Grand Fisher, the hollow that ate Ichigo's mom.
Now he is kind of a very intelligent
Yeah.
hollow because he uses well like a anglerfish, a dangling spirit that he creates to lure people with decent spirit energy that can see ghosts in for the kill.
Hmm. And he also can base that lure off people he's eaten.
Mm-hmm.
So during the memorial to his mother, Grand Fisher shows back up and tries to eat Kari and Yuzu.
And pisses off Ichigo.
This is the one hollow from season one Ichigo fails to slay. Grand
And
Fisher is too.
this is the whole reason why Ichigo even wanted to continue being a Soul Reaper.
He didn't want anyone else to suffer like he did.
Well, to be fair, he also wanted to make sure that this thing died.
Yeah, that's true. But I get the impression that even if he had slayed Grand Fisher in this fight,
Oh no, I'm not arguing with that, but I'm just saying like he very clearly makes it known that he is out for revenge on this thing, and I do not blame the man.
yeah, He is not like, oh, I need to focus on revenge only. He's more on the lines of, I need to get stronger if that thing ever comes back.
True,
I'll
but
get
I'm
my
just saying, like,
revenge.
I don't blame the man for wanting to. Oh, hey, it's here. I'm gonna kill it.
Unfortunately for Ichigo, Grand Fisher also decided to get stronger.
Ah,
He became an Urankar. He ended up, the Urankar, Grand Fisher seems a lot dumber than Grand Fisher normally was.
I think it's
Wait,
because he's high on power.
yeah, he might be. So he ended up chasing around Konan and Ichigo's body, wanting a rematch.
So here's the thing. I like how this really shows the difference between a hollow, which I'm not even sure what great hollow that is at this point.
He's below Menos, I know that much.
Yeah. To a Arankar.
Yeah,
Now notice
Urankars are
he's
usually,
not wearing white.
yeah, Urankars are usually made out of Menoses,
Mm-hmm. Now the reason he's not wearing white is he's not part of the.
established group.
Yes.
Aizen just made him for a larf.
Yeah, he's pretty much just there because Eisen just. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah, maybe
experimenting.
let's see if I can make one out of a high grade non Menos.
Yeah. And lo and behold, he could. And yeah,
That thing's ginormous. Look at the size of that Zanpakuto in its back. It's like building a skyscraper. And don't you remember? Ichigo's Zanpakuto was huge when he was sword because he had so much power. Ergo, bigger the Zanpakuto, oh, never mind.
yeah. Turns out that the captain class, lieutenant class, just control the size of the swords.
Yeah, otherwise they'd be swinging swords like that around.
Yeah,
So remember, ladies, it's not the size, it's how they use it.
that was terrible.
I'm sorry, one of us had to. I'm glad it was me.
Well, you beat me to it.
I don't know why asexuals seem to make more jokes about sex.
But
Yeah, Ishin did this in like one or two slices.
yeah, it was one. That much I remember. But yeah, these two do know each other, and he is a Soul Reaper.
That's where Ichigo gets it from.
So that explains how he got soul powers to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Because Kisuke didn't give him back the ones Rukia gave him, he awakened his own.
Mm-hmm. That was inherited from his father.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know where the Hollow came from.
No, no, we do not.
Well, we
Was
sort of do.
Yeah, we sort of
It's
do. Do we blame Aizen? Do we blame Kisuke? Or is there
well,
somewhere else?
I was gonna say it's because when he was regaining his powers, Kisuke cut the chain.
Yeah, is that Kisuke's fault that causes it?
Well, no, I'm
Or
just
is it
saying
some
like that was that's where we believe the Hollow powers come from.
Yes. Or is Aizen behind everything as always?
That's
All according
silly.
to Cake.
By the way, these two also know each other.
Yeah, they have a very storied history. And also, both of them are competing for Father of the Jerk Father of the Year awards.
I think the one on the right's winning.
Actually, the one on the left thinks the one on the right is losing. Yeah, the one on the left thinks he's a worse dad. I just think Ryuka's just a worse person.
I think Ryuken's an asshole, but he has his reasons. At least I'll give him that much.
Yes, these two have a lot of good comedy moments, especially the anime where they have a lot of bonus clips together. They're pretty hilarious next to each other.
Ryuken runs a well-to-do hospital. Ishin runs
Mm,
a family
Clinic.
hospital clinic.
Yeah. The two of them do work professionally with each other, but that wouldn't mean they'd know about each other's powers.
Because notice someone's still dressed like a Soul Reaper.
Yeah, and
I
notice someone's wearing a tie covered in crosses.
wonder if that means anything.
Uh,
So, round two. Fight!
yeah, because of misbehaving nature of Grimjaw, he got in trouble for his first fight, so he's sent back later for a rematch. And Ichigo has his mask now. It doubles his speed. So he fires a gets to Tensho, then gets behind Grimjaw as he's blocking the rest Tensho to fire one in his back. This is not a fight. It's a beatdown, but Ichigo's the one doing the beating.
Yep.
Yeah, the arm is not from Ichigo's handiwork. That's from Grimjaw misbehaving. His boss has cut it
Mm.
off.
So,
And just as
eventually, someone tells him no.
okay, time's up. This was a distraction fight.
Yep. Grimjaw
Grimjaw
was
was
only
about
sent here to distract Ichigo.
he was about to also go full force, which he wasn't supposed to.
But
This
yeah,
is This is Tosin before, right around the time he chopped off Crip's arm for misbehaving.
I'd also like to point out this also really shows just how powerful Tosin is,
Yeah, you can one shot an arm off an Iran car.
and pretty much boss them around.
Yeah, and he's basically the third string of Isaac's group.
Yeah, but he still left him blind. He's an asshole. Why don't you work for this guy?
I hear there's health benefits coming on the road.
Don't lose an arm over it.
Eh,
So
are you afraid?
basically,
No ghosts.
the distraction was to take Orihime that
Yeah,
was reported upon earlier that she has powers that.
completely heal. Like the damage done to Chad's arm should have been unrepairable.
Mm-hmm.
Okiura
She is
knows she
doing
could.
something that Aizen does not fully comprehend.
He refers to it as almost touching the face of God.
She is pretty much rejecting what God makes standard,
Hmm.
essentially.
So what happens is Urkira ambushes Orihime along the way back to Earth while she wanted to help because she was training in the Soul Society. He then slaughters her guards without even like lifting a finger, and then shows a projection of the Arankar attack on the human world, and she gets to watch all her Reaper friends and Ichiko not doing the best, but Okura basically threatens her, saying along the lines of, "We have more and more and more. If you surrender and come with me, I'll stop the attack. And I'll give you 24 hours to say goodbye to one person." Now, this part I don't quite understand. He gives her a bracelet that lets her walk through walls, but also she can write a note.
I
But
will
while
say
she's wearing
this
the
one, Ulk is very true to his word.
yeah, while she's wearing the bracelet, nobody can sense or see her at all. And like I said, she can walk through walls, disappear and fly. Oh wait, that's Danny Phantom.
So she says her goodbyes to Ichigo. He
Yeah,
senses that she was here.
she's yeah, barely senses she was here.
Mm-hmm.
She almost kisses him, but she realizes that'd be kind of creepy, and she's in tears.
Oh, and she also healed Grimjow because she
Yeah,
threatened him.
because she's forced to join the organization.
Right.
So she heals. Grimjaw requests she heal his arm. Also, when Grimjaw lost his arm, he lost his title and rank. So with his arm, he kills the guy who took his title and rank, so
Yeah,
he gets his title and rank back.
just for a point of reference, Grimjow is ranked sixth in strength in this Oran card group.
Yeah, they're referred to as the Espada. We'll get into more about them later.
Mm-hmm. But I will say at least this: there are 10 of them, and he's ranked
Yeah,
six,
yeah.
and he wasn't
Well,
going all out when he fought
no,
Ichigo.
no. And the power gap between him and Okuyara is massive.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what number he is? I mean, we do. We'll find it next season.
So
But yeah, upon learning what happens with Orihime, Ichigo's first instinct is, I've done enough training. Time to go save Orihime.
yeah. Now at this point, I think he can have his mask on for like anywhere between 10 to 20 seconds.
Yes, I think it's somewhere around there now.
Because every time he does get better with it.
Yes, it's
So
difficult learning process, but Ichigo's a hands-on learner.
yeah,
Which,
so I want to say anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds
yeah,
is because I know it's definitely not half a minute at this point.
no,
Oh, yeah, you two just do whatever the hell you want. I was just told to get you.
yeah. Byakuya is told to fetch parts of the relief team that's helping on the human world to prepare for war because they now know Aizen's going to make his move soon. So he was ordered by the head captain, fetch your lieutenant and fetch your sister. They are needed back in the Soul Society. All right, I brought them back to the Soul Society, and I have no more instructions for you.
I just love their faces.
So they turn around after he gives them coats
You
and go
broke up there.
right
Say
back.
that again.
So they turn around. Byakuya does give them capes, though. Capes and coats before they go. Because, well, they might be cold wherever they're going. I don't know
It's the
where they're
latest
going.
fashion.
I don't know where they're going. I'm not their keeper. I was told not to be their keeper.
So
So they
this is
turn
one of the
around.
cases of pretty much one of the good decisions the Soul Society has made.
Yeah. And it's an example of Byakuya has learned from his lesson. He upheld the law, he upheld the rules as far as they went.
Yep.
I mean, it's implied to keep them here, but no one told him to keep them here.
I think he was just having a really good amount of fun with them.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, he does owe Ichigo a debt. So if these two want to go help Ichigo, yeah, I'm fulfilling my debt.
Hmm. And that came up really well later in better in the manga than the anime. I feel,
Okay.
but so next time, yeah, things go kind of sideways.
Uh, yeah.
Either he's
So,
rocking out really hard, or we're in a lot of problems.
what do you think of the Iran car?
I really enjoyed the Iran car.
Hmm.
There were something new, but at the same time, something. It's not as if it's something that came out of 100% left field
Hmm.
because how they're used, how they're created, what they are is all within the realm of the world. There's nothing that felt like came completely out of left field. If you know what I'm saying, like it's from this world. It's weird, bizarre, and you didn't see it coming, but it's not like
No.
Batman all of a sudden appearing in this world.
Although that would have been interesting.
Yeah, I would like to see his bad guy turns into a bat utility belt. Yeah,
No, it'd just be a giant Alfred.
with boxing gloves.
No, no, with the shotgun.
That's fire boxing gloves.
Sure, let's go with that. But yeah, I generally think the Iran arc is a step up from the Soul Society arc.
And unlike the Vizards, they're well used. They are an
Yeah,
imposing
I meant
threat.
more of the arc itself, but
Oh, I'm
go.
sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. The Arrancar are better used than the Visor. I think they're well used. They do fit the world quite well, and it does answer some questions people might have had.
I mean,
And
the only few things that aren't answered about the Vizards, and it's never really answered, is the creation per se if they're natural. Um, what kind of hollow was needed for it?
mm,
Because each, like we said, Ichigo's a very special case,
mm,
which I'll ask about that when we get there.
mm,
Um, but for the other visors, we never really learned besides certain steps needed for that.
yeah,
But with the what we learned a lot more with the Iran car and their creation,
mm,
because the only difference between these Iran car that Aizen's using and other Iran car is that these are um, made using the Hyoku that he took with him.
yeah,
There are like maybe like two natural made Iran car in their world, but they're
yeah. I think so.
very,
Yeah,
very, very rare. They're like one in a million,
yeah,
and they're usually pretty solitary because of how powerful they are.
mm,
Like this, like I think even Toshiro said, like a group of 10 and Aizen could take over Soul Society.
yeah,
Well, the Espada
yeah,
are 10, so shit.
yeah,
But you just learn that it's a natural process for a Hollow to eventually try and break its mask to gain more power.
yeah. Because
It's not
Hollows
as
are,
easy as that is per se, but you do learn that these things can naturally occur and how.
mm,
And you also learn that Aizen has pretty much an army and 10 super powerful ones.
yeah. We get to find out how much of an army he has next season.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think of the Arrancar arc?
The arc has a very straightforward story.
Hmm.
It's very linear, but it knows that. It rolls with it. It works with it. Everything that incorporates into this. Like even the side jokes, the side characters, it blends in with the overall scope of try Ichigo learning that he has repercussions with his powers and now he needs help in order to overcome them.
Yeah,
It also leads more with Aizen clearly showing that while he has power, he's plotting something and he's
hmm,
waiting for something as well. And that leads into a bigger mystery. It's like, what is Aizen waiting for if he has all he needs to pretty much run over Soul Society with like a steamroller?
hmm.
Why the wait? What is the end game here?
Yeah, we know his end game is something to do with they believe the Soul King, which we don't know anything about in this season, and we know nothing about until very, 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 very later.
I believe, as far as we're led to believe at this point, the Soul King is pretty much God, as far as our understanding of it at this point.
Well, at this point, at that point in the story, we don't know. For all they know, they could just be an elected official. We know
So,
nothing about Soul King at this point.
as far as it's, I believe it was either we're supposed to believe it's supposed to be a god or pretty much just the ruler of Soul Society, like
Yeah,
over at Yamamoto's head.
yeah. Which Yama was taking orders from Central 46, who seemed to be an elected official. So what's up with that?
But then we also know everyone in Central 46 was murdered, so.
By Aizen,
Hmm.
who's been posing as them.
So then we're
So he
questioning,
already was the government body. So yeah, there's got to be some divine thing with the Soul King. So you're like, okay, this.
because you're questioning if Aizen just wanted the rule. He was already technically doing that behind the scenes with the Sanbakuto anyway, so it's kind of like,
Ooh,
yeah, it just, everything builds towards that mystery.
yeah,
It doesn't really.
while sprinkling in other mysteries like the mystery of Ishin. Like, you're a Soul Reaper?
Well,
Since
that
when?
explains one thing about
How?
Ichigo. What's you? How? What? Where? When?
You know Ryu's dad, and while he's not he doesn't claim to be a Quincy, he's more a very powerful Quincy. What? Who?
But this
He's
also does. But this also does explain how Ishin always accepted every excuse that Ichigo gave. Knew
mm,
Cone was, when the
a
cone was in
fake.
Ichigo's body, and covered for it, and just accepted it.
Yep.
Easily accepted Rukia into the fold, knowing
Yep.
what was going on.
Did he know Rukia was there all along?
I want to say yes,
I want to say yes, but we don't have any proof he does.
but, and if he is a Soul Reaper, why
Is he a
didn't Rukia
doctor?
recognize him?
Yeah. Why didn't Rukia recognize him? Why did anyone recognize him? Then again, no one really sees him. He seems to
No,
be
it.
completely. The only Soul Reaper he ever sees to see is Rukia. The rest of the time, he's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Is
And
he? Is he? Is he avoiding them? Are they
it,
avoiding him?
you also get to the point that you realize that every time anybody besides Ichigo, a few of his friends, anybody from Soul Society that would see Ishin, he's never around to be seen.
Yeah. Kisuke seems to know him, but we know Kisuke's kind of an outlaw. Is Ishin an outlaw?
And why now? If he was a Soul Reaper, why didn't he save his wife?
Yeah, and if Ichigo uh, looks like his dad and has his last name, why doesn't anyone recognize him as Soul Society then?
Just one mystery after another.
Yeah. I think the arc is very good at leaving you with new questions, while satisfyingly answering a few others. It also provides some really good fights.
This is one. This is where I can kind of see where a lot of people say Ichigo overuses the Getsuga Tensho a little bit,
Mm.
but I don't
His,
think it's to the point of detriment to the show.
his demon slash strategy, which we
Yeah.
find out the reason why he does that is that's his instinct is just going for the kill.
I mean, I think the biggest example of that is when he did it to Grimjaw, when he fired the one in front of him and appeared behind him. Rather than just stab him, fires another one.
Yeah.
So
Which but the thing is, Grimjaw already caught a sword once, so he's like, this seems to do more damage than me slashing at him, so why not?
I'm just saying, if you make a minor argument for like that, you're not saying. I can kind of see where you're coming from with that argument to a degree.
I mean, also, if he stabs him and kills him, Grimjaw's not blocking the first attack, so the first attack would hit Ichigo, so maybe that's not a good idea.
Fair point. But I'm just saying, like, there are small instances like that where I can agree with you.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm never going to say Ichigo is, a master strategist of combat with so many options to use.
that's Urio's job. Guy
It's not
carries like a
Hiroshima.
utility belt of Quincy tools.
Yeah, which I like that for.
But I think my only downside about the arc is the Vizards.
Yes.
They have
I
this.
think they set that mystery up too well that it hurts other arcs, but I think the visors are well used in this arc.
The problem is, I think they set up so much of a mystery a lot about this that the answers we get are fine for the group, but in the long run, a Vizard is never really fully explained.
Mm-mm.
We get examples of different ones, but unlike the Arankar, we never know of anyone naturally forming. And I honestly don't think one can. And and there's a reasons for that.
Yeah, I think so too, but we don't know for sure because we can't. That would be too many spoilers.
Hmm.
Or would it be spoilers?
It would be
Bum bum
spoilers at this
bum bum
point,
bum 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 bum.
but the visors themselves, what we get for this is at this point they're well used. They're training Ichigo. They're showing off their powers. They
They're
are
being
showing
quirky.
that they know more about what's going on than even Ichigo does.
Mm,
Because they know Aizen, they know Kiseki, they know the war that's coming. But it just leaves more questions like, how do you know this? What's going on with that? There are still a ton of questions that never get answered.
mm-mm.
So hopefully we'll get some more answers in the next season.
That would be nice.
But for now, I
Yeah.
think it's time we said goodnight.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see you for the next arc.
Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.